Hello, welcome back to another game of Mechabellum. C. Mully here. Today we are playing against Cobalt White, who is an Amplify Specialist with a Saber Fang pack start, while we are Cost Control with a Sledgehammer Fang start. As you can see by our Marksman bar, we are not playing normal Marksman here. We're going for something a little more exotic, if you will, and it looks like we're going to be having a asymmetrical aggro, or a 69 as some players like to call it. So this first round, as long as our sledges chaff clear for us, our marksmen should be able to clear everything on the board. Our opponent's chaff clear got taken out by our sledges here fairly early on, leaving only one pack left for chaff clear against our fangs. Though it looks like we're down to pretty much one fang pack left, maybe a little bit more than that. And with the tower debuff, we're going to be turning around. Any hounds that run in front are going to get cleaned up by our sledges and our marksmen. And as long as our fangs get in front of our marksmen here, by the time these hounds are dead, we should be free targets on these saber tooths as they move at the same speed as these fangs, and these fangs are going to take a minute to get in front, allowing us to lock onto these sabers. So positioning here is favoring us just due to the speed of the units and their positioning. Mustang and Phoenix were offered. Mustang and Phoenix were picked up. I decided to try for a cheeky little flank play here. Our opponent places Mustang in an ideal position to defend from such a play. So we lose out on a little bit of value here. And we just defend with some more fangs in the back, in case our opponent was going for the same kind of cheeky play. And we pick up a crawler to pull these fangs away from the tower, so we get our marksmen to immediately lock on to the tower, so we can get that debuff nice and early. But we decided against it, instead putting our crawler back here. And we do pull some of the fire from this tower, slowing down this debuff timing for us. This round looks a little bit better for our opponent than the previous. And it looks like they're going to get the second tower debuff eventually here, if their units continue walking, but with only one hound, that's just not going to be quite enough. But our opponent, our chaff, is run away to the other side of the tower, giving our opponent the win this round for sure. There's no way we're beating this saber, especially when we're going to eventually get the debuff. Rhino assaults offered along with laser sights. Extended range, again, interesting card. Cobalt goes for it. We do not this turn. We go for the laser sights instead. We'll probably be placing it on our marksman. And now we are going for the strategy. On round 3 is the start. We did sell out of our Phoenix in the corner here that was feeding these Mustangs. We're going with the 3-unit flank here. Our opponent takes our tower fairly early, which is nice for them. They're probably going to win the round due to it. We definitely need to put more stuff in front and maybe widen our board. over time. Additional deploys offer, we do take it this turn instead of the redeploy. And efficient tech was also offered, which is a nice thing to have as well. Our opponent took the redeploy. I don't know what they want to redeploy necessarily on their board yet, if anything. And we are building out a little bit more on this left flank just to help slow down with the oil. Our opponent redeploys these crawlers. They should be able to get through as we look like we're going to missile this side of the board here. So we're kind of just setting up our board still. We've got some nice pulls. We split the army in half. So we're going to be able to feed some XP to our units from our main force over here, which is nice for us. We would love to do that. But we really want to be fighting the actual army. So we do want to start building over onto this side as we've expanded our flank here. But we will be losing another round here as we're trying to get our board set up to fight our opponent in a more favorable manner. Worm is offered, Farseer is offered, Void Eye and Typhoon. We take the Worm for the sell value. Our opponent is starting to missile out every turn, which is nice for us. We love to see that. It's minus 100 on round 5. Well, we get to quad deploy some marksmen. And I think we're going to place one over here just to help pull these guys away from the tower. And we decide to go missile out these crawlers again. We throw a missile back here as well. Our opponent goes for the Typhoon here. I guess it's for the Fangs here. I don't know why you'd be placing stuff here. Your tower's level 3, it's doing great. You just slap it back here. But I guess he can always redeploy later if he so chooses. But our opponent, if we take an actual assessment of their board, they have Crawlers, Fangs, they have Hound, Mustang, they have Phantom Ray, Sabertooth. They only have one Mustang, so that's not too much of a worry. But what beats Hound, Phantom Ray, and Sabertooth really well? My thought is Raiden. So Raiden is in the back of my mind at this point in the game, especially after the extended range card came out on the Phantom Rays. I think it's probably one of the best counters to Phantom Ray spam. And it's just nice I'm getting extra value with big single targets and small unit packs on the board. We clean up most of the board, but we don't quite get it done. Just a Sabertooth and a couple Hounds surviving for our opponent here, which is very good. It shows we're stabilizing our board. A lot of good spells are offered here. AI is nice as well for us. Orbital is probably the easy one for us, as these Phantom Rays are only really 2 missiles from being killed, so it's high value for us to attack with the missiles, and we'll guarantee some damage on them, helping our marksmen kill them a little bit faster, even though they already one-shot them. We opt against getting a shield for this side. We don't really care about our Fangs. They don't really do a whole lot for us other than tank some saber-tooth and phantom ray shots, which are going to be dismantled by these hounds. Our opponent has a huge weak flank on this side of their board of this tower, which can be exposed with rhinos if we so choose. But it's kind of annoying to run into a board that can easily shoot at you and probably slow you down. It's just easy tech for our opponent to take. And we don't want to give our opponent easy answers, so we're going to continue with our plan at the moment and just build out our marksmen for now. The plan being shooting squad and teched fangs, that is. It should do actually relatively well into the phantom rays, theoretically, but I don't think we end up committing to the plan this game. Just because there's Mustang and Hound, and it just feels kind of bad to play more Fang into Mustang Hound. So that's the main reason why we're not planning on clicking this tech. And it looks like, again, we're going to be surviving with just 2 units, or losing with 2 units on the board for our opponent. Underground threat is offered. We immediately pick it up. There's a huge gap in our opponent's back. I mean, we have a huge gap as well, but we end up clicking some Mech Rage, and we should be, maybe we won't take levels on our backline fangs here, and we take shield as well here, just adding as an extra layer of defense for our marksman as we do continue for our plan to go with the marksman tech. Our opponent is planning on burning the board here, which is going to be unfortunate for us with us double teching our fangs there. Actually, one of the main reasons why we did double tech is because of the underground threat. It actually helps us defend against it quite efficiently. And again, our opponent is setting up this entire army in a nice chain for whatever unit we want here, which is probably going to be Raiden later on. But that is more the emergency button in this game. We do, looks like we are just barely winning, just losing out back here. Just unfortunate, but we get a good tower timing. Maybe our marksman is enough to clear out before the tower is fully taken. It is not. It looks like we're going to be taking a lot of damage here on this round. Maybe we're going to lose the game, barely dealing any damage to Cobalt White here. So it looks like we're going to have to click our emergency Raiden button in this next round. As we lose this round and survive by the skin of our teeth. And Raiden is offered. So, I mean, that's a free pick for us. We're going to recruit a couple more of them. Our opponent picks up the Vulcan, takes the Firestorm. I don't understand that at all. You're winning with what you have. Just build more what you have on that side of the board. Is the way I see it. Yeah, and we pick up our Raidens here. Our 2 extra Raidens and an extra Fang that we just placed right here. And the idea is our Raidens, well, they kill everything in the air for us. And they kill all the hounds. They help kill the saber-tooths. It's just a nice unit that counters almost everything on the board except for really the fangs, crawlers, and mustangs for our opponent. And really, that's kind of our marksman's job at this point, is their glorified chaff clear. And they can deal some damage to the air units when it comes to it. And they can assist dealing damage to the other units as well. I mean, it's not like they deal little damage or anything, right? 5,000, 7,000 damage. 3,000 damage. More than the level 2. Well, actually not quite more than the level 2 anymore. Because they're 5,000 HP. But our Raidens do one-tap everything in the air. And now we're in a commanding position for the game with the emergency Raiden button being pressed. We could potentially click this tech next turn and say we did the nesting doll strategy, but it feels a little disingenuous at this point to say that we have. If anything, I think Missile Strike's the only thing to pick up there. We triple recruit our Raidens, and it's just enough money for us to click range on them as well. Our opponent takes range on 2 of their units. We've been selling out of our Fangs on the front in front of this Vulcan because why burn our chaff when we can just sell out of it and prove that these Fangs really do nothing for our board. The Vulcan is now targeting this pack of crawlers here, so it's not even going to get the value of hitting these Fangs at any point. We're missiling out in the back in case some big units come out. I decided to place the Raiden over here for the same kind of logic. If he suddenly places a bunch of units over here and just punches through, at least the Raiden is a little bit of damage to prevent that from happening. But I think if our opponent just decided to go Rhino or a War Factor here and run at our tower, we probably actually just lose the game here. So we're giving kind of a gift from Cobalt here for continuing to play into the cheesy strategy. I'm sure he knows that Hacker is the answer, or a answer, to the marksman, but has decided to commit into the extended range Phantom Rays. So we come in, we take the tower down. I believe our opponent has not yet clicked aerial specialization. This probably would have been the round to do so. Our marksmen are tanking for our Raidens here, preventing them from being shot at. And if we look at the range difference here, it's actually, if our opponent does take aerial specialization on those Mustangs, they're never going to get through these marksmen that end up walking in front far enough ahead. As you can see, the range difference is 40 meters, so it's not even sub 30 difference between them, which is what you would need with aerial specialization to have effect on the Raidens. So aerial specialization is a bit of a throw if our opponent goes for it. It's just a wasted 500 supply. Again, I will reiterate it again, our opponent probably should be picking up some level 2 rhinos and just running at our tower. Maybe with armor, maybe with photon, maybe with blender tech whirlwind, so on and so forth. We've expanded our Raidens at this point because our opponent has not answered the Raidens in the last round when they should have had an opportunity to. And instead we're going with more Mustang and I believe aerial specialization, which just doesn't quite cut it for the reason that we talked about beforehand. If these marksmen survive, if these marksmen don't survive, then this is fine, but they have been surviving, so adding more low damage units is not going to be the solution to the marksman problem, preventing you from getting to the Raidens. So as we can see here, the Raidens deal the damage to the very tanky Sabertooths that are protecting and that were originally killing these marksmen, but with them dead, they no longer can. And the Phantom Rays, perhaps with burst mode, could do a little bit more damage to these marksmen, but it's just not nearly enough with the tower debuffs coming in. The marksmen stand in front, tank all the Mustangs for the Raidens. None of the Raidens go down, and we end up winning the game with our emergency Raiden button. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.